Okay.
We are recording. You don't have to eat.
We are recording now.
All
welcome to JB Cast episode 24. You're with the Jungle Brothers boys, Joey Worthington,
Hey guys.
Tira Ward,
Hello.
and myself, Paul Fotofili.
Hello.
It's that time of year again. It's the end of the year. Everyone's kind of thinking back, looking back at what they've done, what they haven't done, looking towards the new year coming. We're thinking, what do we want
Well, actually, by the time they're hearing this, New Year's been.
It's gone.
Okay,
It's
yeah,
gone.
sure. That's right. So we thought it was a good idea to continue from our last podcast, which was how to survive the holidays and remain or progress forward with being the beastie person you want to be, keeping up with your training and nutrition, etc. So this one's about New Year's resolutions and how you can do some goal setting moving forward into the year.
Why your New Year's resolution doesn't work.
Yeah.
It hasn't worked. It's never worked. It's never going to work.
Why it fails
Fucking sham.
year in, year out.
Did you have a story
Why
about
you're
yours,
losing.
T?
God
That
damn
one that
you,
you set
fitness
for
industry.
years?
Yeah, I've set a New Year's resolution
I
for the
remember
last
that
10
one.
years.
What is that?
It's to get my blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
And how's that going?
Oh, well, I've attained a title in BJJ. That's the longest reigning white belt in Sydney. So hold on to that.
T started jiu-jitsu before I did. I'm a
did.
fucking brown belt.
I did. And I remember I ran into a guy that that started around the same time as me. He's a black belt now. And he's like, man, fuck, if you're stuck with it, well, you'd be like black belt with a Dan or something on top of it. Made me feel really bad. But I blame the New Year's resolution for that.
Yep.
And it was a very, very poor attempt at trying to attain something. And we have a system at Jungle Brothers that we use for goal setting because it's very important for us, not just as role models in the health and fitness industry or how you'd like to look at that, but also like setting goals for people when it comes to losing a little bit of body fat or getting the first handstand, but also the same approach is necessary for us as moving forward in business, well-being with our family. Yeah, you can set the goal setting can be limited only by your imagination, really.
So true. And to put in a bit of context, we just spent the last hour each making phone calls to our members, right? Where we're doing, our membership retention work, where we're trying to have conversations with people and help them set goals and, help them stay motivated and that kind of thing. So it's it's a far-reaching kind of part of our philosophy. This staying motivated, setting something that keeps you energized and committed to a process. And I guess we believe that the typical approach to New Year's resolutions sucks and doesn't work, hence the blue belt. But if you do it well and you have a process, which we're going to go through, then it can actually be quite successful.
Can. Yes.
2019 can be the year of the blue belt.
Can be, yeah. Or don't even wait for New Year's. Just
Do it now.
Do it now.
Just go buy one.
It's true.
And do it again and do it again and do it again, and don't just wait for that one time a year to implement a fairly loose, poor plan.
So here's the question then. What's, for you guys, what's important to you both about setting goals?
Well, we all want to move forward and feel good about ourselves. I think part of us wants to be growing. Somewhere inside, I want to be growing and moving forward. Growth makes me happy when I think about my family or achieving something that I always wanted, or there's an inner thing that makes me feel like, oh, there's X that I've never had that I'd like to get. And I think definitely years ago, I didn't have a pathway for it, and you never really realize, I didn't know what goals were, or the power of articulating what a goal was or something that you wanted. So back then, when you're younger, you just have that feeling. I'm not really doing anything or achieving anything. So now I know. I look for things that I want to achieve or attain, qualities or something physical. I articulate that thing, and when I get that, it's important to me because it makes me feel good. Makes me feel like a leader or a father of my little clan and the gym, etc. So, yeah, self-esteem and all that stuff for sure.
Yeah, it's all emotionally charged.
Mm.
And if you Paul said how it just makes him feel good. It's not even, you don't even have to attain the goal. It's just knowing that you're taking conscious steps towards a place that you want to be. And whether that's with your training or with your family life or with your study, whatever it is, knowing that you're ticking those boxes creates a really positive response emotionally. And this is where a lot of the health benefits come from it, you know, to feeling good about yourself. And I think when you're setting your goals, it's very important that you acknowledge the way that those goals are going to make you feel, because that's the driver.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's quitting cigarettes or getting a blue belt or whatever it is. Like if I had just visualized myself getting Joe to wrap that blue belt around me, or Dave, it would be Dave. Joe can't give it to me yet. Dave, good.
By the time you're ready, I'll be able to.
My arms up in the air and my gi, my big white beard and bald head.
Thick eyebrows. Still have them, bro.
They'll be white by then. Yeah. But I think it's very important that there's an emotional attachment to your goals.
Yeah.
You know?
Mental health.
Yes.
Helps with the mental health.
Helps a lot.
Yeah, it gives you some direction, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I also think is really important about it is that if you take the time to stop and think about what some goals might be in certain areas of your life, that you end up arriving at certain conclusions that perhaps you wouldn't have if you'd never made the time to sit and do it. As in, sometimes you realize, I'm actually kind of already, living the thing that I want to be living, or I've already reached a bunch of these things that I want to have reached, which is really cool. Mm-hmm. But it also gives you it also forces you to sort of go down some different paths and recognize things that you want that perhaps you didn't realize you wanted. Like, a good example for me, I started to set some categories, which we'll go into later, but categories around my goal setting. And so one of them was like family. And for family, like I don't have children of my own, so it was more around like spending time with my siblings and my parents and stuff. And I was like, fuck, I'm not actually very good at spending time with my siblings because I'm so busy working all the time. So I was like, I'm going to make an effort to go and see them like once a month, which is a really pretty minimal goal, but was, kept me way more accountable than if I hadn't have said it. And if I'd never thought about it, another year would have gone by and I wouldn't have been able to see my brother and sister that much. And,
true.
It's interesting when you kind of put yourself into that place of, what do I really want from that thing in my life? So I like that.
And connecting again emotionally, sometimes you can have a goal in mind, and once you visualize yourself there or articulate that goal with some like detail, and you put yourself there and you start thinking, okay, it's probably not where I really want to be. Maybe you've just had a shitload of influence from people close to you, family and society and whatever, and that you feel like you should become that lawyer or whatever it is, and then you have a good think about it and you're like, you know what, it's not what I want,
Yeah.
So having that emotional connection to the goal also helps you.
I want to be a personal trainer.
Yeah. It helps you kind of come to the conclusion that like, okay, is that really what I want? Is that where I want to go? And, maybe it's not. And then you get a chance to have a good think about what it is you really want to set for yourself,
I think it's definitely it's an important thing for modern day living, given that it's a lot busier than it was a million years ago.
Yeah.
A lot of distractions.
And
life's longer.
Life's longer.
And you have options. We have options, rather.
Lots of options.
Yeah. And there's lots of shit that's out to like foil your plans or your life, So you can, like you said, Joe. If you don't think about it, you're working away. You're putting out spot fires and you're just rolling with the punches. 5 years goes past, etc., and you just
coasting.
You're coasting,
lost.
And then you look back
Doing
and
drugs.
you're like, well, is this really where I wanted to be? So it really helps to have some foresight, whether it's a long-term goal or short-term. These days, it's to get you. You're like my hype man.
Do these keywords resonate with you?
Hallelujah. Yeah. Praise the Lord.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, that's an interesting. Like, it's kind of a bit of a privilege because of the life we have here in this. You know, the place we live, the country we live, the time. But a lot of people obviously don't have that luxury, right? They're born into a life of conflict or born into a life of poverty and whatever. And then life is in a way more simplified. It's like just fucking survive every day and find food. And so it's like, okay, there's no time for me to, you know, maybe there is, but it's like
Goal set.
Yeah. Whereas for us, it's like you can like live in Sydney. You can be pretty demotivated. You can probably get on the dole and work at like a pretty, you know, kind of chilled out cash job and that sort of thing. Like, it's easy just to float through and do okay and still be able to go and drink beers with your mates. And
Depressed.
yeah, and then like, well, fuck, what am I doing with myself? You know, what am I doing with my time? So I think that it gets really important to have some goals because it gives some purpose.
Contribute to yourself and the others around you. So let's have a think about, like, we wanted to touch on this because obviously we want to relate it back to getting healthy and fit and strong and what most people goal set for when they call our gym. But it doesn't have to be limited by that. So should we discuss a couple of like different subject matters within somebody's life, our own, where you can start setting some goals around those subjects?
Yeah, I'll give you, I got my 5 that I use, which I'll give you, and then you guys can tell me yours.
Joey's Big 5.
Yeah.
Goal setting.
I got family, I've got training, I've got business, I've got finance, and I've got lifestyle. And for me, I just sort of came up with those, and they kind of cover everything that I can think of that I want to develop. So it's a sort of easy categories for me. What about you boys?
Yeah,
I don't have categories, but they fall like along those lines,
Yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah, mine
much
are
in
pretty
health.
similar. So just health and well-being. Hobby is in there as well. Community is another one, so just giving back. Then we've got finance, very important, that one, and overlooked by a lot of people. And then what else was there? Family. So I've got my family split up into 2. I've got my immediate family, my wife and kids, and then I've got my extended family, which I consider like my dad, my sister, you guys, like that group that I'm spending the most amount of time with outside of my wife and
Home
kids.
life.
Yeah. And these are all areas that need to be nourished. And it's very easy to spend all your time on making money and training, and then, you know, your relationship at home feels like shit, you know?
Yeah.
Or you know, you're spending heaps of time with the kids, and at the same time your health is going out the window, you know?
Yeah.
So having a fairly broad approach to your life, like as a whole, and then segmenting it is important because it allows you to not lose focus on the things that make you happy, you know?
Yeah. It's true to think in those areas and like, oh yeah, what would I actually like to do that's relevant to finance, you know? Which is not something I'd ever thought about until I started to think about it.
Yeah.
I started to set some goals around it, right? And think, fuck, I don't know anything about money.
Yeah.
Money management, that's a big one. You know, how do you manage your money? Making money and spending money is 2 different things, but like how do you save for when you're old, you know? Or how much you're putting away for that little holiday with your kids and family, or for your training and the rest of it? Because generally every other element of your circle or those areas rely on you know, making an income.
Totally. You know? Yeah, it's what makes the world go around. Well, coming to this, I guess I thought maybe just to give a couple of examples of goals that you might set around those areas. Or maybe we come to that when we talk about our 1 year piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So where does it all start then?
Well, we think of the subject matter that we're going to talk about, or that we're going to, like, the area of our life that we want to focus on, and we set an ultimate vision. And the way I've always done it, and I'm sure this has been stolen off some fucking one of them guru guys that get the crowd jumping around and and shit.
Mini tramps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cold water.
So you set an ultimate vision, and the vision, what I was taught was if you use the word vision, it's better than goal because goal puts something out of reach. So all of a sudden, this thing becomes far away from you, you know? Whereas if you're thinking ultimate vision, then you're putting yourself into that space. Now it becomes reality for now within your mind, you know? Does that make sense? Like you're in the place that you want to be. Like let's say my ultimate vision is to be, like for me, for my ultimate vision for my training is a warrior acrobat. I'm already a warrior, so I've achieved that side of my ultimate vision, but I'm not quite an acrobat yet.
Yet.
I'm getting there.
Yeah.
But look, at the end of the day, I'm never going to be an acrobat. I have trouble going upside down. I get like fucking vertigo. So, but it doesn't matter because that ultimate vision allows me to shoot for the stars and I reach the moon, you know?
If you fall short, you're still
going to hit places I'd never hit before if I didn't set that goal like way out of reach, you know?
Yeah.
So I visualize that, okay, what does it look like, you know? And I write it down. And I write down like a good 3 to 4 paragraphs of what my interpretation of a warrior acrobat is. And for me, it's just being dynamic. It's having physical presence when I walk in a room. It's moving well. It's feeling confident. It's being durable to the point where if I have an accident, I'm not going to break. I'm still capable of learning new and exciting stuff, and I'm malleable, you know. And it's important for me to have this mindset moving into my 40s, so I don't get too rigid, you know. So that's my ultimate vision with my training, and then I write down the how that makes me feel. So what's my emotional connection to that ultimate vision? So it's kind of like I feel confident. I feel proud of myself, you know. I feel energized and euphoric because I feel pain-free, and all of this emotional connection is what drives me for my next training session. You know, if we're working backwards, which we'll get to a little bit later. But yeah, so articulate the vision as much as you can.
And visualize.
Yeah.
That's it. You got something, Paul?
Oh no, just on the articulation and the visualization. I used to do the collages, picture boards. They worked really well for me at this point. So it was just going online. I did a digital one. I guess you could do analog for you retro kids out there.
Pinterest is real good for that.
Pinterest.
That's what I use.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. And look, I like dicking around with Adobe and stuff. So I make the actual collage and put a board together, sticking all the pictures on top of each other it's all the things collaged together from all my different categories. So there'll be some wicked people that I admire in music, physically MMA fighters, and then it was places that I want to visit and far out. Yeah, it used to be. I think it's still my screensaver, but it doesn't go to sleep very often.
I see it come up on your computer quite often.
Yeah. It's really cool when it comes up and you see it like, oh shit, here it is here. Look at that. Usain Bolt, what a boss. Yeah, got that Porsche in there.
Why is Whoopi Goldberg in there?
Oh. Well, you know, she's a
I
legend.
want them dreads again.
Want to go on that morning show.
It's interesting actually because I was thinking about the ultimate vision thing, and I set goals for myself, and I did a Pinterest board which really helped me because I could just browse things and then collect them, and you know that was how I sort of collated the things. But personally, I find visualizing hard, and I think that like you're such a creative guy, T. You're such a visionary guy, like across all facets of our business. You're the one with the big visions. I think that's the mode that has worked for you has been to just see it in your mind, right?
Yeah.
Which is super cool. And then what Paul's saying is the same thing, but it's just it's perhaps a variation for those who have a harder time cultivating those images, you know, and having, it's almost like the ability to daydream.
Yeah.
You know, and just go to a place. But if you do something like a picture board, you can be less creative, but you can still start to build the same kind of image.
Side note, I just saw Marky Wahlberg come up on my thing here.
He should be on
yeah.
mine, bro.
I know.
Get him
Well,
off
that's
yours.
you. Isn't the Calvin Klein's just there with that body in like the 90s?
I still follow that guy. He's killing it.
He's awesome.
He's still up at like 4:30 in the morning training
I know,
hard,
He's crazy.
juiced.
4:30.
So we're at the beginning. We're setting ultimate visions in our different categories.
Yep. However you choose to do that, but
And-
set aim high. Yep. And be articulate.
And just a thing, because I know I will look, when you're setting these ultimate visions, do you not want to separate yourself from your everyday life? That is to say, you don't want to be doing it in the next room while your kids are screaming in the kitchen.
Yeah.
You need to take time away,
Yeah.
book that time out, switch the phone off. I think you got into nature, no?
Yeah. Train, get down into nature, and do a little bit of riding, a
Been-
little bit of mulling.
So go
Not
somewhere.
mulling up, just mulling.
Mulling over.
Mulling
Visionary.
over. Not mulling up, mulling
But yeah,
over.
you want to go somewhere inspirational, no?
Yes. Yeah, for you.
And you want to be in an inspired state.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think get a bit of endorphin running, and don't have your phone there ready to go off, because you want to be in a space where you could focus on yourself and just get a little bit selfish for an hour.
Yeah, out of your routine for sure. Yeah, that's an important one. And I think that that's really important to push, is that it should be a little bit, in some ways it should be a little bit unachievable or a little bit ridiculous, that thing that you set for yourself. Like, because the more realistic steps follow after this.
Yeah.
But it's important, you said shoot for the stars. It's important to make it really audacious and something that's kind of crazy, because we're going to work our way back from that.
Yeah, and when you've got something like that, it's inspiring.
Yeah.
So when I read that title to myself, it inspires me.
Yeah, right.
But it also gives me clarity as to where I want to go with my training. Because again, like you said, there's distractions.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure you don't get pulled off course. So speaking of that course, the next step after that, so we're working backwards here. We've set that ultimate goal or vision, and then we move back to our 1 year. So in the 1 year, we're looking at, okay, how much have I achieved? Realistically, how much have I achieved towards working to that ultimate vision? So where am I in 1 year's time? And the same thing again, you write it down or you picture board it or however it is that you want to articulate that vision, and you make it detailed, but again, you're realistic about it,
Well, now, I think now more realism has to come, right? Because it has to be now it's 12 months rather than a lifetime.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, cool. What's going to be the step in the next 12 months that's going to take you closer to that vision? Which is usually not quite as big as you. It's not as there's not as many steps as you think to get to that ultimate vision, right?
No.
It's usually a lot more simple than it seems.
Yeah, that's right. So 1 year could be, in my case, from my ultimate vision, it could be like, okay, I want to get my first backflip, and I'd like to have my, have competed in 1 or 2 tournaments of some kind,
Yeah.
Let's say I was my 20-year-old version of me, or even if I was going off my own, okay, well, I'm sparring 3 days a week and I've got my blue belt,
Yeah.
really attainable. Okay, that's within reason, and you got to make sure that when you're setting these smaller goals that the odds are in your favor. You want to be winning lots, and so if you shoot a little bit lower now, then it's easy to tick those boxes off. Then you get addicted to the wins. You're not just fucking beating yourself up.
Yeah, and I think that really ties into the idea that when you look at what your big goal is, and then you look at the smaller steps required to get there, those steps are achievable. So you choose a step. Okay, well, this year, what am I doing towards my ultimate vision? Okay, I'm going to join that gym that's around the corner. I'm going to go there and I'm going to sign up for a year. That's my, and I'll be training there for 12 months this time next year, and that's my thing. It's like, oh wow, shit, yeah, okay. I don't really have to do too much beyond that for me to get to my ultimate vision of becoming a ninja acrobat or a warrior acrobat.
That's right. Yeah.
So then where do we go after that? What would be the third step?
So the third step is 6 months. So we've just broken everything up into smaller chunks. So it might be, okay, I've been training for 6 months at Jungle Brothers. I've shifted the excess body weight that I came in with, and I've increased my strength by my body weight strength by a certain amount. I can now touch my toes, and I'm feeling about myself, and the emotions that are connected to this particular vision are this, and this. So I feel great. I'm feeling more confident with myself. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm on my way.
Okay. So at the moment, you're still setting visions. You're not actually setting tasks. It's like this is
still a vision.
Okay.
Yeah. 6 months is still a vision.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you move to 3 months, and same thing. So now you're on your third page. You've got fourth page. Got ultimate vision, 4 paragraphs. Paragraphs are getting smaller. 1 year, maybe 3 paragraphs. 6 months, 2 paragraphs. Number 4 would be a 3 month, and now again, smaller and more specific. Now 3 months is getting towards where you're at now. So it's okay, where do I see myself in 3 months' time? All right, I've joined a gym, and I'm now, I have control over my nutrition, and I have a mentor of some kind teaching me the style of Kung Fu that I want to learn on the side, And then you've got your 1 week after that. And this is where things start to become less of a vision and more of a reality. So it's like, okay, 1 week from now, what do I see myself? What have I achieved towards my ultimate vision? And now I'm going, okay, well, I've called the gym. I've called up 3 gyms. I've inquired about pricing. I've contacted the Kung Fu mentor that I want to learn from. And I've also signed up for a nutrition program. And then after that, you journal it. So you chuck it in your diary. So on Monday between 11 and 12, I'm going to block that out. That will be that 1 hour that I'll call 3 gyms, and I'll write call 3 gyms. And then Wednesday, it will be contact so-and-so, find out how they got onto that nutrition program that helped them out a lot. And then on Friday, I will go and have a look at the gym that I want to join, and you have that in there. And that might be between the hours of 3 and 5. So you've blocked those times in, you've written it in there, and now you've held yourself accountable for taking that first step. And they're all very simple steps. It's like, it's a phone call. It's 2 phone calls, 2 phone calls and one visit.
Yeah.
Which is really
it's not a lot of work at all.
So easy. And you just think, oh, that's all I have to do to take a step towards my ultimate vision. Now, if I did that every week, it wouldn't be long before you're in a really fucking good place.
Yeah.
Like a really good place. If you had discipline to do that week after week, and I know people that can do it. I do it intermittently, but I know people that do it week after week, and they're just fucking killing it. And they do it in every aspect of their life. And it takes them about half an hour a week of time, and everything that's important to them is getting tended. Because, again, you're doing it with your training, you're doing it with your wife and kids, you're doing it with your business, you're doing it with your finance, you're doing it with your holidays, you do it with everything, And it just works.
Yeah.
And it works because you're taking action. You're not just thinking about something or talking about it, you're just doing it. And you're going in the direction. You look at it like a roadmap. It's like, okay, and this happens a lot because I'm doing the sales in the gym, people call me up and someone says to me, I say, okay, so what do you want out of your training? Like, where do you see yourself in 6 months' time? And they'll be like, oh, I just want to get fitter. I just want to get fit and lose a bit of weight. And I know as soon as I hear that, and it's not all the time, but 99.9% of the time, I know that person's not going to cut it. They're not going to make it, not in our gym, maybe somewhere else for a very short period of time because someone's going to tell them what they want to hear. But generally, because their vision or their direction is so vague and they don't really know what they want, they're not going to be able to achieve it. And then you get someone that calls up and says, man, I need to get some mobility because my joints are sore, but I've got probably about 5-6 kilos I want to shift. I've been looking at what you guys are doing and I'd love to get like a 10-second handstand or something like that. And when I speak to somebody like that, I'm like, okay, they've already rattled off like a mid-term, a short-term and a long-term goal to me. These people are more articulate with what they want. They know what they want. And I know for a fact that they're going to join and they're going to hit their goals,
Yeah.
just by having more of an idea of what the hell they want in their life,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like a roadmap.
That other guy, you just hang up on him, yeah?
Tell him fuck off. Fucking go call fitness first.
Right.
Wasting my time.
He's just kidding, folks. He helps them along with their goals, helps them realize it.
Talk them through it.
All right.
Talk them through
Beep.
it. I tried, no, but I do. I
Waste my
try to get out of them what they want. And a lot of the times people just don't want to share.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But a lot of the times people just don't. They don't know.
They don't know, yeah.
And they haven't actually asked themselves, but maybe there's other areas of their life that they're really articulate in. Like they're like, right, I want a degree in this and I want that. But when it comes to the training side, for them it's very vague, So I know for me it's the opposite. Like if somebody talks to me about finance, then it's hard, for me to get it, like articulate or visualize, managing money because it's pretty boring for me,
Yeah.
So you just got to make sure that you're acknowledging those weaknesses as well,
So tell me this then. So say you've blocked out that time, going back to your example of the first week, and you've made a couple of calls and you've booked in to chat with the mentor, the Kung Fu guy, and that gets done, and then you come to your next week. So what do? Do you look back? Do you look back at all the different visions?
Yeah. So once you hit so you got your 1 week, and then you look at your 1 week vision from last week when you write your new one in, and you see what you've hit. And if you haven't hit your mark, you don't beat yourself up about it. You're like, all right, it just carries over to the next week. And this will happen when you hit the 3 and 6 month mark. Sometimes you hit your 3 month mark like way early, or aspects of it, and then other parts of the 3 month mark might be there for the next 9 months, because it's just you're not quite ticking that box yet.
Yeah.
But it's still there, it just carries over. And it's important that that there's that one thing that's taking a little bit more time to carry over, and that's where the focus starts to go, just organically.
Yeah, I believe that to be very true. If you're focusing on the thing often happens.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
If you're not focusing on the thing, it's very likely it won't happen.
That's right. It's like, and that coming back to finance again, that's something we learned kind of in the hard way in a way, was that if you're not looking at the numbers daily, then they tend to just like money just disappears,
Yeah.
But if you're on top of it, then things start to move in the right direction. If you have a plan and a strategy and you're implementing that and you're watching it, and this applies to every element of your life. If you're ignoring your relationship with your wife or with your father or whoever it is, and you're not giving it the attention that it needs, and you're not analysing, or reading the feedback that you're getting from that relationship and making conscious change and trying to make an effort to make it better or stronger or however it is, whatever direction you want to send it in, then it's just going to fall apart. You need to invest in the things that you love most. Time.
Paulie, give me. You set some goals in the last year.
Yeah, it's probably turned out a lot like the year before.
Give me a couple.
Where you start off pretty strong in the year, and you're working towards them. Things change, and you kind of, fall off on your journal for a few weeks, and a few more weeks later. So I'm having this podcast, getting excited about getting away and kind of realigning, opening the old book. I wish I had it today. And like revisiting, seeing what we had set. So yeah, we had some goals. I know some of them were around getting home to dinner to my kids 2 nights a week.
Nice. Specific.
Yeah, that was specific. There was some around personal training. I'm pretty new to it, and I've been a coach here for over a year and a half now. And it was less specific, but it was becoming like a confident coach, and being okay with standing in front of people and just developing that part of myself. Had some financial ones which were just earn X amount of money, I won't disclose that amount.
Too many
But
zeros, bro.
too many zeros.
On the wrong side of the decimal.
Yeah. And then there's some very like there was habitual goals that I was wanting to set, and the habitual ones were it was about drinking water, a glass of water before bed, a glass of water the first thing I do when I wake up. Another one was sleeping minimum 7 hours every night. And that one comes back and forth. And
I had that too.
you had that one?
I smashed it one night.
What was another one? Asking habitual. These are kind of different goals. I'm not sure it fits into the whole structure, but the habitual ones on having family time, which is basically I can't remember how I wrote it, but it was asking my wife and kids how their days were and being present while I'm having that mini conversation.
Yeah.
I don't do those anymore because I'm pretty sure I made them a habit and they're just good now. I just do them all the time.
Well, the two nights a week at home with your kids is a good one to, like, if you to use it as an example. Let's say that was your ultimate vision. You're like, okay, I want to hit 2 times, but it could be one of yours. You know?
Yeah.
Let's say one of your ultimate visions is to be able to have dinner with the kids 2 times a week.
Yeah.
Then you set your 1 year. Okay, I want that to be 1 time a week. Set your 6 months. Okay, for this month, I'm going to get home 2 times over the next month.
Yeah.
To like really achievable, and then
working
then you
your way
work back
up.
to 3 months, and it's like, okay, I just need to get 1 dinner in with the kids between the start of this month and the end of it.
Yeah.
And then you journal it and then put it in on the date. And 3 weeks from now on Tuesday night,
Yeah.
I'm making the time to spend, and it's there. And it's fucking really easy to do. And then
Yeah.
you just work backwards from there,
Yeah.
And then it becomes, I know a guy who did that with taking off all his holidays, all the school holidays with his kids, using the same approach.
Yeah.
Starting with 1 day for every holiday. And then now he takes off every school holidays. He holidays with his family, which is awesome.
That's cool.
Just working back from one, using
Yeah.
the same approach.
How about yourselves?
I had a few this year that have definitely changed. I had like around my lifestyle stuff. I had to book a public speaking course,
Yeah.
and I also had I booked a public speaking course because I wanted to do one for a while.
Did you do one this year?
No, but I just booked one in and paid for it a few weeks ago.
Oh, cool.
But it's happening next year in Feb, I think, or Jan.
Did you check in on your goals and go, oh, I got to act on that?
No, I'd kind of been there in the back of
been
my
there. Oh,
mind.
cool.
And then I did a speed reading course, and then there was a guy at that course who was like, oh, I just did this great public speaking course. And I was like, oh, wow. Like, it was kind of all there,
Yeah.
That was kind of, to me, felt like an example of how when you make something a goal, you start to put energy towards it, the thing, it comes about,
Law of attraction.
Yeah, I do.
The secret.
Yeah, I do really believe that in many ways.
The secret.
But yeah, I had stuff like actually I had some big bodyweight strength goals this year, but I had like a deficit handstand push up and a back handspring, and I think there was something else in there. Oh, an aerial, like a no-handed cartwheel. But then I fucked up my wrist earlier in the year training, so that was kind of off the table. But inadvertently, I found myself getting right back into jiu-jitsu, and so now my goal is, and even though I haven't written this down, but my goal is to get my black belt. So I'm like, cool, and now my bodyweight strength training has gone to the back burner just a little bit because I want to focus more on the jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So, that's an example of how a goal can flip. But the end result is the same, is that I'm developing in the area of my training, and I see, that whether it's for me personally, whether it's jiu-jitsu or it's my strength or it's my flexibility, it's my physicality. It's something in that realm. And once I get my black belt, I'll probably chill and, pull it back a little bit, and then I'll get back into my bodyweight stuff, in a more intense way and all those things. So it kind of ebbs and flows, but the trend is always upwards.
Going back to the law of attraction, I don't personally believe in fate or like attracting energies or anything like that. But I do believe in choice, and I believe that we are the the dictator of that choice. And let's say you don't have any articulation with where you want to go, then opportunities slip through your fingers. Let's say you didn't know you wanted to do a public speaking course, and this guy said that to you, it'd go in one ear and out the other.
Yeah.
But because you're articulate with what you want, when that opportunity arises, you can seize it.
Yes.
And this is really important because the same thing happened to me when I wrote out my ultimate visions, and then a guy came to the gym and said, "Hey, I don't have any money, but I'm looking for somewhere to train. I'd love to just like share a bit of knowledge." And we were like, "What do you do?" And he's like, "I'm acrobat." And I'm like, "Fucking come on in."
Yeah.
Come on in. Yeah, tick that box, bro. Yeah, it's good. So the exchange is there. Now, if I didn't spend the time and think about what I wanted, and I didn't have any emotional attachment to that want, and that didn't get triggered when he told me that, and I didn't get excited about it, that opportunity would have slipped from my fingers as well.
You would have told him to take a hike.
Yeah, get the hell out of here, bum.
Yeah. Take your backflips.
Go get a hat out.
Backflips down the street.
It's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seize the moment, you know? So, yeah.
So then when's a good, like for you guys, when do you make the time? Let's say when you do your yearly thing. When do you do that? What does that look like?
Well, that's got to be, you don't wait till the new year. You got to fucking do it now.
I wait till New Year.
You do yours on the new year?
Personally.
Jeez.
Well, I wait till I have a...
Setting out yourself up for fail, bro.
Not me, bro.
Like
Seen me?
Wipe out.
No, there's. I think that you do it when the time suits you, and I have like my birthday's at the end of November, and then it's like a few weeks, and then it's Christmas and New Year. So that for me is like a good time where I just look at when I have a break. So I got like a week and a half off over Christmas this year, so I'm going to do it then.
Nice.
That's the best time. If I try it, like it's too busy for me now. It's too busy, you know. So I like that.
Yeah.
And then that would be my yearly piece.
Right. Yeah. Mine. I tend to it on a monthly basis. I had the intention of doing it every week, but I'm not that disciplined. So it's a monthly thing for me. So once a month I will go through my visions, and then just work backwards and make sure that I'm moving towards them. So I started off with the weekly, just every week, ticking them off, and then that started moving to the wayside. And I think probably coming into this break now, I hate to say it, but because there's a little bit of time to spare, I'll revisit all my visions and then start again. Probably do something very similar to what you're doing.
Yeah. Okay.
We rewrite,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be getting to mine when I'm up in the Northern Rivers this Christmas, between Christmas and New Year's, out of Sydney.
But it's not a New Year's resolution, bro.
No, you're just doing it around that time.
That's right.
But you call it what you want, right? But it's just it's just a time. I mean, that's the thing. It's you can pick up. It's a constantly occurring process.
Yeah.
And you like say I do the yearly piece, and that's my big one. And then I do at the beginning of every month, and then I do at the beginning of every week.
Yes.
That's my thing, and then I do every morning.
Yeah.
And it's just like that's when it happens. And it doesn't mean that like if it's a beginning of the month and it's Saturday and I'm working and I'm out that night, it's okay. I can do it on Monday or Tuesday. But I just know, it's the beginning. Oh, fuck, I got to review my goals for the month. You know? I think that it's interesting how hard it is sometimes to make that time for yourself. But then you make it and you're like, fuck, why don't I do this all the time?
Yeah.
Question, do you use reminders and stuff for that?
Look, I've been playing.
I've
been playing with some different. No, I don't use reminders, and I've been playing with some different formats over the years. But I did just start using a tool that's been probably the most effective ally for me in this realm, which is a particular journal. It's called the Thrive Journal, and I got on
digital.
No, it's a book.
Oh,
it's a journal. Yeah, and I bought it. JT Tenacity from a couple of episodes ago. He got me onto it.
Man.
And it's made by a mate of his, a guy in Melbourne, and it's just got really, really simple formats for setting your 3 monthly goals, your monthly goals, your weekly goals, your daily goals.
Does it have quotes all the way through it?
It does have some quotes,
It's all got quotes.
but they're small and they don't take up too much space.
Yeah.
I actually really like it, and I I came from before that. I was using my own Moleskine, and I liked it because I could format it
Yeah.
how I wanted, and I would journal, and I really took pride in that.
Yeah.
So going to this thing that was pre-formatted,
Yeah.
where I fill in the blanks, felt a bit cheap to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I'm going to give it a go. And within like 2 days, I'm like, this thing's fucking awesome.
Fuck,
It's so
okay.
good.
I've always kind of moved like away from them when I see them. Tash has one, and I haven't even taken the time to look at it properly. But it has, it's nice because it's an A4 page a day. It's a big
big
guy,
ones are good.
and it has like heaps of prompts in there. And she says it works really well for her, and I see her using it, and I'm proud of her. But I use blank. I've been blank since June. I got in this thing like years ago where I was out of a diary and I got a diary and I started getting diaries with the fiscal years. So the last like 3-4 years I've been like doing June to June because you can't buy a January diary in June. They just don't stock them on the shelves anymore.
Oh, right. So you were
Yeah.
trying to buy like the one so you could reset the process.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm just, but yeah, since June, yeah, I've just been blanking at the moment, but I'm going to buy a new one. It's exciting. I love stationery.
Well, you don't know what might be in the Christmas hamper for you two boys this year.
hamper.
Oh,
You're going to dress
keep
up?
putting your hand deeper. Feel that?
That's not funny, man. We've got kids over here.
I've actually bought for all my clients this year. I bought them a Thrive Journal.
Oh, damn.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which I was like, oh, this
Don't
is
be
sick.
don't be giving them out in front of when I'm taking.
I want to share this with you. Yeah, I'm actually having like a little ceremony for all my clients in the gym. We have a little band playing, a free breakfast, and then a presentation of the journals. What are you guys doing for your clients?
Oh, shit, I haven't even thought about it, but I probably should. It's
You got
ever
me onto
since I
the
had-
idea years ago.
Well, I used to do it all the time, and then I had kids, and they just took every last cent that I've got. So that's my excuse, but I guess that's run a bit dry, so I probably should
Yep.
spend a bit of money on them.
I've got some
Yeah,
time
bit
put
of
aside
love.
to do. I got a little list, but I need to get it done this Sunday. Yeah, I need.
You should set a goal around that.
I have.
Yeah.
You should vision that.
I've
Visualize.
I have. It's
See,
freaking-
there
And
you
then
go,
attach
bro.
the-
Slipping
yeah.
through the cracks.
The,
Yeah.
the
No,
emotional
I'm almost
attachment
there.
that you'll get to like handing it over to them and how you're going to feel,
I can't wait.
how they're going to feel.
I can't wait because I'm
their
going to get
response.
there. I'm going to be feeling that.
You know,
Yeah.
how happy they're going to feel.
It's already happened.
Yeah, that's right.
You don't
I am
need to
the
get it now.
king.
But look, I think
here to
with the
take
with the
over.
goal setting thing, I think as a young man, I always looked at the goal setting thing and I was like, I don't get it. It sounds fucking nerdy. Sounds like
Yeah.
a Poindexter thing to do.
Yeah.
And then you get to a point where you're like, I don't know. You just get to a point where you realize, man, I could have done better over those periods of years. Or, you know, like we look back at our time in the film industry and think, oh, what if we just knew how money worked and we just decided to save like 5% of what we earned? You know what I mean? Like, but because we didn't give a fuck at that time and we were just working and having a good time. And that was also important because maybe that's the experience you need to get to you know, to have the shift that you have to
Now.
think differently. Yeah. However, I think the process is so powerful, and I know so many people, like you said, you know, T before, that have used it so successfully, from like business people to MMA fighters. Richie Walsh in the UFC, I remember him telling me he used to write down all his goals, and one day he was like cleaning out his car and he cleaned out some
Yes.
old paper and he
Yeah.
opened it up and it said, "I want to be a UFC fighter."
So
like I
good.
will be a UFC, and the guy had like a 6-fight contract or something at the time, you know. But it's like, yeah, if you at least start to write things down and make time to think about it, it goes so much further than just having a vague idea in your mind of what you might like to do.
Yeah. And
And talking to people, right? Talking
Yes.
like, what are your goals? Like,
yeah,
what do
really
you think?
yes,
important.
yes, yeah, true.
Share, because that's accountability as well.
Yeah.
Especially if there's someone that cares about you, because they'll be like, okay, that's what you want to do, and they'll come back to you and say, how you going with that fucking project you were talking about? You
Yeah.
know, have you started yet? You know, it's good. Post it on Facebook,
Oh,
right?
have you done that?
Fucking get out there. No.
I'll post
That
it
should
for
be
you
one
now.
of my goals. Post on Facebook.
Tira Award wants to get his blue belt this year in 2019.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes, and I was also going to add to that. The good thing about the goals is, and setting the big ones or setting even the midterm ones, etc., is that it makes the day-to-day grind a lot easier.
Yeah. Because
Just
it's for something.
It's for something,
it's
and
for
you've
something.
articulated, you've taken the time, and you're like, this is shit today or whatever, I got to get up. But especially if you're doing your weekly realignment or you're journaling and you have your what do you call those things where you repeat back the same thing and it includes
Mantra.
baby,
Your
mantra. I didn't even know, but
Yeah.
yeah, if you're doing that all the time, then it makes it heaps easier to just do the day in, day out because it's for something. And yeah, with the analogy you're saying of the map, you get that destination going and you know where you're heading towards on the map. And come the end of this week, you've driven up to this block and then you're driving to the next suburb and then you're going to cross the river, that type of thing.
You take the most direct route.
Yeah.
You don't have to be fucking distracted by little things along the way unless you want to.
Yeah, that's right. But, if you didn't take the time to articulate that goal, you're literally just driving around and you get to a block and you go, oh, that's pretty cool around here. Let's go another block. But
you hang out here for a year or two.
Yeah, that's right. I think there's like a feel-good phrase about like being that ship in a bay or something like that. You're just kind of floating around, you don't have a port that you're aiming towards, right?
Lost in the ocean.
Yeah, what is it?
Those
Drifting.
For
No
for
water.
a ship with no port.
Yeah, that one.
For a ship with no port, no wind is favourable.
And I love that.
It's fucking
Yeah.
bang on, right?
You know,
if you
and
don't
that's
know
how
where
I
you want to
feel.
go, then nothing's satisfactory,
Yeah,
really.
it's going to be
That's
fucking
right.
miserable.
Or maybe it is and you fucking found enlightenment and you're just super satisfied. Fuck the goal setting. Just enjoy it.
Being a bum.
And then you're,
Just roll another doobie.
I'm that, yeah, that's right. I'm that street bum by choice.
Come around for beers.
5-day cricket match.
Ouch.
Yeah. Oh, the cricket. Yeah.
I think that's a good point for us to wrap up on.
Yes. Yeah, did we cover all? We covered. Well, let's just review then the
Cool.
order. We have.
Well, man, Pete, we start with the ultimate vision,
Yeah.
which is shooting for the stars and you're beginning with the end in mind. From there, you're going to go to your 1-year vision. At your 1-year vision, you should be visualizing that you're already partway there. And then from there, you go to your 6-month, which again is a smaller chunk, somewhere, halfway through that journey. Then you go to your 3-month, then you go to your 1 week, and then you go to your daily journaling. And your daily journaling includes where you're setting your tasks relevant to the vision. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah. Very achievable, attainable, easy wins.
Yeah.
Easy wins.
And
That
I
makes it
would,
simple.
I would say, don't even worry about what, like, as long as that task is relevant to that goal, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like,
Direct.
oh, how many tasks do I have to get through to reach that goal? How many tasks do I need to do this week to fit that into the 3? It's just like, no, just fucking do a thing that's relevant to that thing that you want.
Yeah, it just has to be one thing.
One
That's it.
thing.
And yeah, you're saying about journalizing it, something that I just realized only recently about the to-do lists and how to-do lists don't work, but to instead use your calendar. I read that, that's how a lot of the high performers do it. I mean, you basically have the task and you put it directly into a calendar as opposed to writing, ring a gym, book a thing, and then having that little list. You got
Put it
to
off.
place it on an actual spot.
In a spot, in a time slot on your calendar.
Make it specific.
I got no problem with the to-do list personally.
You like to do this?
To-do list works very well for me. Very well.
You're well disciplined though.
Yeah.
Like you'll get through it.
Yeah.
To-do list for me will look the same as it did.
But here's
a
a
month
tip.
later.
Here's a tip from the top. I got 2 to-do lists. I got my A list and my B list.
Oh,
And my A list is if we were to refer to Stephen Covey's, the time management quadrant, that is my it is my important tasks. So I basically look at the things that are directly relevant to my goals or the things that are super urgent that need to happen relevant to my life or Jungle Brothers. That would be my A list. So it's like, today I got a call. I got to spend 15 minutes researching a public speaking course. I've got to text my brother to book in to catch up on Sunday, like relevant to that goal of do the speed reading, do the public speaking course, spend time with family. And then I might have a thing like 2 of those sales I had to follow up for Jungle Brothers because that's really important to the business. But my B list is the shit that is not that important but still has to happen. So it's like
your Q2 and Q1 is kind of your A list. a mixture of both.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like, respond to those emails, do my social media work,
Yeah.
blah, 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 like that. The shit that's not pushing the needle, but it has
Yeah.
to happen.
Yeah.
So when I sit down in the morning, I prioritize my A list,
Yeah.
and I would put that into my calendar at the beginning of the day. I go, okay, cool. Or the day before, like
Yeah.
in the morning, I spend 60 minutes here getting all the A tasks done, and then.
Do you do a to-do? Do you have a to-do app?
Well, no. Now I've always just done this I had my journal for my goals, and then I had my daily to do, and it was just a small little pocket book. But now all of those things happen in my Thrive journal.
Thrive Journal.
ThriveJournal.com or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, something like it's really it's mad. I love it, and you will
Fucking
too.
selling this, bro.
I know. And promotional code for discount. Yeah, not yet.
Yeah. Is that another side project with you and JT?
Still under wraps. No, it's not. But yeah, it's a great little thing. I love it. And I think there's a few other journals out there just like it. But
For sure.
they're sick. Takes the guesswork out of it. Makes it real easy for you. Fucking 5 minutes
Fuck,
at
I
the beginning
want
of the day.
one now, and I don't like it. Sucked
Done.
into fucking little things like that.
I think, like, I know we're wrapping it up, but we should do another one of these because I think there's
Podcast.
still another one on goal
Oh,
setting.
goal setting.
Because there's other bits and pieces I think that that we could talk about. Maybe we'll do in 6 months or something a review. Review who we are.
Here's a challenge.
Challenge.
If you hear this and you do your goal setting, and you write down your ultimate vision and your goals for the year, and take a photo of it and post it on Facebook.
Yes.
And use the hashtag. We're going to say.
Come on, Stephen Covey.
What do we got? What do we
What you
got? JB Ultimate. Jungle Brothers Goals. Jungle Brothers Goals. Use the hashtag Jungle Brothers Goals. We're going to send you a gift.
No. Jungle Brothers Vision, maybe?
Nah, Jungle Brothers Goals.
Okay.
Just Jungle Brothers Goals. That's what I want.
You right? Jungle Brothers Goals it is.
Yeah, Jungle Brothers Goals. You take a photo of your document that you've written down. You don't have to have, you don't have to be able to read everything that's on there.
It's just
but we can just see that you've set some things, you've taken some time to write some shit down.
Okay.
And we're going to follow this up a couple of weeks after this episode goes out. And if you've done that and you've taken that step and you've taken our information, which we believe can change your life, then we're going to reward you in some small way, send you a little thing to say, good job.
Good job.
Jungle Brothers Goals.
Any other notes? Any other goings on? Generally in the gym. There's Christmas hours out. Oh,
No, we're coming out in the
we're
new
coming
year,
out.
son.
We are. Why don't you just? You're doing a little side project, aren't you, at the moment?
Yeah, I got a
use this platform.
I got a side project going on. Well, it should already be partially underway by this stage, but it's my Bulletproof for BJJ
Yeah.
thing, which I've been running a program with some jiu-jitsu athletes, and I've run a couple of workshops. And the idea is, I'm working with a buddy of mine from Melbourne, JT Tenacity, and we're launching a thing where we're going to have like an online program and some digital stuff that's going to help jiu-jitsu athletes become stronger and more mobile and less prone to injury, meaning that they can stay on the mats happy and healthy for a long time.
Awesome.
So yeah, that's a real cool thing that's kind of happening on the side, and yeah, I hope I'm gonna set some goals around that shit.
What, mid-year or something like that?
I would hope for things to be out shortly after this is released. To be honest,
You should write an ultimate vision for that.
yeah. Well, that's
Really should.
That's the thing. It's
You
there,
should
and
make
I'm
it
like,
big.
as soon as I get to my little bit of downtime over Christmas, that's my plan to sit down and reconfigure around it.
Because especially for like a startup business, you want to know what the final product's going to look like.
Yeah.
You want to know exactly what it looks like, especially, and you want it to be big, you want it to be something that's going to change a lot of lives for a lot of people. It's good. A system like that, I mean, we know that the stuff that's in there, that's going in there is going to help any athlete, but especially the BJJ athlete,
Yeah.
It's going to help a lot of people. I think that's really important,
Yeah. It's so
on
true.
that front, to be able to get it to as many people as you can,
Yeah, fucking earth. Yeah, we want to take it worldwide, but I guess speaking, in reality, it's been like it's all happened so quick. Haven't had the time to sit and like, okay, fuck, where do we want this to go?
Yeah.
So it's going to be nice to maybe vape a little bit over the New Year period and sit and dream.
Yeah. Cool.
You on the side of a bus.
Yeah,
And your
Jiu-jitsu
gi.
bus. Yeah, and the fucking black belt.
And the black belt wrapped around your waist.
Thanks, boys.
Okay. Thanks, listeners. Thanks, T.
Thank you.
Cheers, fam.
Yeah. Happy days.